Hey there, you, and welcome to another episode of Lap Bar Nation. This is CJ,
And I'm Chris.
and welcome to our show. Today, we are going to be doing a discussion video about us. We figured if you're going to be watching our show weekly or however many times we can put it out in a month, you guys probably want to know a little bit more about us. So that's what this video is.
And it's CJ's favorite topic.
About me. There's going to be lots of us and mistakes.
We're not perfect.
No, but it's going to be less stress on us, and we're going to be able to put out more videos for you guys. So
Less editing.
Less hours at the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So to give you a little bit about ourselves in general, we are theme park employees. We'll give a little bit more detail about our resume in just a few minutes, but we want to kind of show you our credibility for making this channel, putting out weekly, hopefully, videos on theme park related news, theme park related topics, possibly even rabbit hole off of that into movies and things like that. So anyway, that's what this is about. So Chris, did you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
So I am originally from New York and would come to theme parks as much as possible, save my pennies, and make as many trips here as possible every year till I decided that I might as well just live here. And that was in 1990. I got in my car and drove to Florida, and I've been working in theme parks ever since, a long time. I started at Walt Disney World and went to SeaWorld, back to Walt Disney World and SeaWorld, and currently at Universal Studios. I've been there on and off since 2004. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's just been an amazing time. I absolutely adore the energy of the theme parks and the events that are happening. And like we have very shortly, the Jimmy Fallon ride is opening, and there'll be a big brouhaha. And I just love that stuff. Love the production. Love the amazing interactions with our guests, and just seeing them sometimes cry when they see some of those characters that they've been dreaming about seeing. It never gets old. I love it today as much as I did the day I started in 90, and eager for more. I'm eager to tell you all about the new things that are happening and that we discover.
It's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, of course, my favorite part is a segment about me. Growing up, I grew up in a Universal family. We visited the Disney parks every so often, but whenever we did, it was just to Magic Kingdom. We never visited the other theme parks with Disney. I never got to experience those until I was a little bit older. But with that being said, we did visit Universal pretty frequently, if not once or twice a summer. So living in Florida, it was very easy. 3-hour, 4-hour car ride up. We'd wake up super early in the morning. Our dad would pack us in the car. We'd pass out, and by the time we woke up, we would be at Disney World. And I'm sorry, at Universal.
Did they carry you in the car in your pajamas? Carried you to the car?
Yes. And we would actually have to change into our regular clothes because we would be in the PJs. So
that's funny.
But see, when we started visiting Universal, there wasn't a parking garage. There wasn't a city walk experience.
But that lot.
Yeah, from there, we visited the parks. We actually got to see the opening of Islands of Adventure, so that was pretty cool. And then as far as my work experience in theme parks, I did an internship with the Disney College program in 2007. I was a culinary student, so I had done that at Epcot. Pretty interesting, pretty crazy. If you guys don't know anything about events with Disney, it's a crazy circus. But anyway, we'll talk about that later, a little bit later. From there, I worked. I came back and did another internship when I graduated college. I worked at Universal in 2008. I did a little seasonal stint over at Seuss Landing. Uh, Imagine that. A world where nothing is straight. Yes, so I worked at Seuss Landing. I was in food operations. That was pretty interesting. I keep saying interesting, but it was.
It is interesting.
It really was. This was back when GE
Ah.
owned Universal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can say about that. Yeah, I gone back to Disney. I worked at SeaWorld as a culinary professional after I had graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in several of the timeshare resorts, which is kind of strange. Not Disney related, but it is related to theme park industry, because we'd have to kind of sell that as a part of the package, I guess you can say. The whole themed, Disney, Universal, SeaWorld. So, pretty cool. And now I'm at Universal again. So Chris and I actually work together overnights. Are we allowed to say that?
Sure.
We're going to say it anyway. We work overnights. We're not afraid. There shouldn't be any backlash because it's not like we're giving you any industry secrets.
Which we cannot.
With that being said, yes, we cannot divulge, and we don't really know anything as far as secrets anyway.
And if we knew, we would have signed that we would not divulge it.
And we wouldn't be able to tell you anyway, so it doesn't matter. With that being said, anything that you see released with Universal, as far as Universal related, is going to be whatever's been put out by the media. So you're not going to be hearing first on Universal related topics from us. We can discuss, to the most part, what's already available to the general population. So just keep that in mind. Don't be upset at us too much. But with Disney, SeaWorld, anything with Cedar Fair, anything outside of Universal, we can, I guess, talk about maybe rumors or whatnot with that side of it. So
Right.
So that kind of wraps up my history. What kind of positions have you done in the themed industry?
I have been a frontline attendant. I started at the Disney MGM Studios, which is called the Hollywood Studios now. And with attractions, I became a trainer and then a supervisor and then a guest service manager. And then for attractions, and then I moved to special events, guest relations, special events. And park services. So mostly park services and attractions. I did some stints in marketing and youth market sales. Gosh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's so much you don't know about me.
That's
Sage.
crazy.
Oh yeah. You learn so much about me.
So much history.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Where did you work at Epcot?
I worked with culinary.
What?
With the events team. So it was all like catering events. We did
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. It was nuts.
So events is one of my favorite things about theme parks. And you worked
in events.
In events too. So
that was
after events, when you work an event, after an event, you get to eat the leftover food. So that was the greatest part of it.
When you're in culinary, you get to eat the food before and after and during. So that's how you get this.
If I knew you were making
pleasantly plumpness.
Puppy belly? Puppy belly.
We'll say puppy belly, okay.
We'll just call it puppy
Hashtag puppy belly.
Puppy belly.
I put my own special effects in there. Doesn't matter. We're new to this, so yeah.
So that's the events is, just really high stress, getting that food out, getting it back in, getting the next, and the
Yeah.
guests are coming and
With
crazy.
Disney,
But it's very exciting.
Disney has everything figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, my role was to cook all the food. I had to, pull everything out of the freezers or fresh prepare them, any sauces or whatnot. Breads, even we made breads, which was, I'm not a good baker.
Bread is hard.
My bread was hard. So I would burn it. Anyway, so my role essentially was to cook the food, get it prepared, put it into these big, gigantic, we called them steamboats. And
Oh yeah.
they, like these big doors that held the heat with the food and, put them on a truck and then ship them over to the location and then set up. And luckily, the events team for like serving, they already had set up the stations. So my job essentially was to get
Right.
everything from the trams and the steamboats into the area, set up the back of house area, get all my supplies ready, and
Right. There's 3 or 4 teams. There's what CJ was doing, and then there's those folks that are serving. They're doing the bars and the hors d'oeuvres and whatever, depending on whether guests are serving themselves or they're being handed plates and it's plated. And then there's the operations team who actually takes care of moving the guests all over. And it's like a beautifully orchestrated ballet when it goes well.
I was gonna say that, yes.
when it doesn't go well, it gets a little wonky, pear-shaped, and unpleasant.
I would say probably 90% of the time, 99% of the time, the guests don't know what's going wrong.
No.
But we know.
Yeah.
And when you see people freaking out and, oh my God, did you see what happened? Yeah. So events is crazy. Lots of people are loading up on libations and...
Oh yes. They're
very happy.
Very often the first thing we had a drink on a tray for them to take as they would pass. So honestly, we don't want them to be queued up and we don't want them to trip over anything because they're so excited about what they're seeing. So just get the drink in the hand so that they can just continue and carry on and go on that first ride or whatever. Events is really great times. It's some of the most treasured memories are events. So after that, what did you do?
Working with Epcot and events.
Yeah.
Actually, during that program, it was quite a long, extended program. I started in like May and didn't end until December. So normally it's like 6 months, 3 months. Sorry, I had coffee. It's making me burp a little bit.
It's okay.
During that stint, I was able to work at Sunshine Seasons, that kitchen. So they have like a gigantic rotisserie kitchen area. It's actually where the Soarin' ride is at. If you guys don't know, I'm sure people have heard about Soarin'. But it's that kitchen on the lower level. They have like sandwiches and pastas and... Sunshine Seasons is crazy.
I'm trying to remember where that is exactly.
They keep redoing the kitchens.
It's very confusing.
It's like fresh food. You know how on the second level, well, I guess it's ground level, I guess you can say that. You come around and there's that restaurant that spins, and they have like character dining.
So, are you telling me that, is this in the land?
This is in the land, yeah. We're the land building. It's the same building.
That's the same kitchen I worked in.
You worked in Sunshine Seasons? Or the...
I worked in the food court. You know the food court?
Yeah, the food court. Sunshine Seasons.
I worked in that kitchen.
That's what it's called.
Oh, that sounds so familiar.
Yes.
Yes. I made sandwiches.
You worked at the sandwich station, the big circle?
I dipped ice cream.
Okay, yes.
I made salads.
Yes.
I made wraps. We worked in the same place.
We're kitchen buddies.
You were kitchen buddies. We didn't even know.
I'm so sorry.
Is that you?
That was my phone.
Oh,
I put it down.
Sorry about that.
How unprofessional of me.
I didn't...
Yeah.
Where's Soaring?
Soarin', that's in...
It's in the old...
It's in the land building.
It's in
the boat
old...
ride where you go around and you look at the garden and Disney, the Mickey pumpkins, and people remember. Here, we're gonna post a picture right here.
I
Right here?
do remember, but what is it? Where the Kitchen Cabaret used to be?
Yes. Yes. That's the same building.
So I've been on the planet a long time, so I have many different versions of theme parks in my head. So even in the
Yeah.
my own theme park, I sometimes call attractions what they were 2 attractions ago. Like, oh yeah, go over there to backdraft. I don't even call where you work sometimes. Never
Twister?
mind.
The old Twister building?
Twister. We'll miss Twister.
Oh,
But it's
Twister.
okay if you're playing Pokemon in the park, when you spin the Pokestop, it'll still say Twister, probably forevermore.
Oh, yeah, it does. That's right.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh.
all of them are behind.
Triggered.
So,
Twister trigger.
right.
That's crazy. We worked in the same kitchen, though.
Right.
It happened. I mean, it's not, I guess, that uncommon for people that have worked
Essentially,
at Disney.
Disney's a wonderful company in that they want you to be a generalist, and they want you to be of the greatest value to them by going around and learning so many things. And so you can have one job with the same company, but you've worked in all these different departments, and even within your department you've learned everything there is. And so we may have worked in the same kitchen a different decade, but even though I was in attractions, or I think I might have been in guest relations then, I still picked up hours, and they still trained me like I actually worked in that department. A chef personally trained me in that kitchen to learn
Yeah.
all the different stations, because they invested in me, because that's what Disney does.
So, when I worked at the Seasons, the Deathly Hallows book for Harry Potter had come out. And I remember this because instead of eating my lunch, I would read my Harry Potter book that I got at Walmart for like super cheap because I was poor. But I remember that, and it's kind of weird that Harry Potter is bringing memories to Disney, but
Yeah. So we have this incredible opportunity because we work overnight, which we already said. We work overnight. We have the whole of the park available to us to explore at our leisure, and look at everything up front without crowds. So we can walk wherever we want in our free time.
and by leisure we mean on our break time.
Yeah, which is ample.
Hmm.
We're a little spoiled. We're a little spoiled overnight as opposed to day shift.
I don't think Chris is saying that we just walk around when we're working.
What, you have to go from place to place often.
That's true, that's true.
Just because I gaze in a window
We do
doesn't
work.
mean that I'm goofing off. I can look. When I worked at SeaWorld, I took the long walk through the dolphin pools just
Oh,
so I could
SeaWorld.
wave at the dolphins, but I was still going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we can be in the Wizarding World, and then
Yeah. San Francisco.
like our last shift, there was a parade rehearsal.
Parade rehearsals.
Especially around Halloween Horror Nights, you are really privy to all the shows. Or they were rehearsing, even last shift we worked in Diagon Alley, some of the shows there.
Yeah.
So we're spoiled in a lot of ways because everyone's paying for that, and it's just part of our job.
Yeah.
It's just the magic is
I would agree.
always happening. Do you
It's
agree?
crazy. Third shift is crazy. Working overnights, no heat.
Yeah.
Not that working with guests is a problem, but there aren't any guests to deal with. Like, that's not the right way to say it, but there aren't any customers. We don't have a customer.
Yeah, when I worked third shift, I did also work a third shift at SeaWorld. There were some customers.
There were.
And when I worked in City Walk, there were customers.
I guess there's things called internal customers, which is a theme park. I'm assuming a theme park term, but it's department to department. One department is our customer, and we are their customer. I guess you could say.
And even on a smaller scale.
It kind of
right.
helps maintain a level of professionalism within the industry, although our job is not that glamorous. We work in the park service department, which is, in layman's terms, it's a janitorial department, but we do more than that.
The jobs that
So-
are very specialized,
Yes.
because oftentimes the park hours are so extended that
Mhm.
there's a very small window to turn the park around. You really need people who know what they're doing
Mhm.
and how to make an incredible amount of work happen in a short time. And so even that we're like house elves, nobody sees us usually, but we are quite skilled at what we do, because of course the everyone is taught that first impression starts when the guest arrives at the toll plaza.
It's true.
And it has to be spot on, it has to be show ready, and it has to be amazing, because of course that guest is paying a lot of money to have an experience. So
Right.
so
And this
we're really
isn't
proud of what we do.
this isn't just Universal exclusive. This is theme park wide. There's documentaries and there's been TV shows where they explore other theme parks at night, and they actually divulge into that whole cleaning overnight experience. To touch on what Chris was saying, it's true. I mean, people, when you come to a theme park, you don't want it trashed. You want to come in where it's bright, sparkling, clean, and it does kind of set the mood.
It
You know,
does.
it kind of gives that. Wow, this was today opening day. That's kind of, for the most part, what the tone, I guess you can say, is that they're
You
trying to set.
you can be anywhere and be in a mess. You could be in a restaurant, and I'm saying off theme park property. The magic of crossing that threshold when you enter the toll plaza is that you are taken away from the everyday, and part of that is pristine
Oh, yes.
beauty as you look around. Otherwise, you're going to say, what did I just spend my $145
Yeah.
dollars on? So it's just one of the very small elements that weave that whole fabric of the theme park experience, which is meant to take you out of your everyday and make you feel like someone else somewhere else.
So you told me a story a couple days ago or last week, or
You sure it was me?
I have a terrible memory.
You
so
sure it was me?
That's a lot of shade.
It could have been anyone.
That was you, and you told me a story about how you worked at Hollywood Studios,
Yeah.
or back when it was called MGM Studios.
I opened MGM Studios.
And
That's
when-
what it's called. How dare they change the name?
When you worked with whatever department it was, when they
Yeah.
did like VIP events. I guess it was events that you worked in.
Initially, when the park opened, there was something called the Backstage Studio Tour. And it took you through some backstage areas, like Catastrophe Canyon, which I don't know if that exists anymore.
Nope, completely gone.
And it took you down New York Street, which was not open to guests. It was only open to guests on the tram tour. Dick Tracy had just come out then, and they had Dick Tracy characters when you went by. And that was all lovely. And what happened was the park was too small. So they changed the Backstage Studio Tour, so it didn't go down New York Street anymore. And guests, it was open to guests. They made it guest safe, and it was open to guests, and they added some more attractions down there. And so there was New York, Washington Square, and Residential Street. Residential Street was the actual houses that they had used for the opening in some Disney shows, like the Golden Girls, and some movies also. What was that other? Yeah, you don't know. Never mind.
Nope.
There was a bunch of houses, and you went through, and it looked like a regular neighborhood. After the parks closed, very often we'd have event guests come in after, and these areas were utilized over and over regularly for these spectacular parties that can't happen anymore. But I would like to paint the picture for you. If you've ever been, or I'll put a picture here for you to see what it used to look like. Washington Square arch, just like the one in New York, was in front of New York Street, and you could gaze through, and it looked like you were in New York. And just around the corner was Residential Street, and guests would get on trams they'd get on buses or trams and they'd be led off in Washington Square Park. They never knew what they were in for. In other words, nobody ever told them what was going to happen. So this was a very exciting moment where they're looking out the windows, what's going to happen, and they see crowds of screaming people waiting on them like they're rock stars. They see police holding back the crowds. They see fans with autograph books. Give me your autograph. And they see people holding up signs with their names on them, and they would step off the tram or the bus to walk through Washington Square into this amazing environment with ticker tape falling down. And my job was to tell them to watch their steps so that they didn't fall down the other side of Washington Square. I chose this position. I could actually be anywhere because I was part of the team that was running the event, but I wanted to be there to see their face when they felt like, I'm getting choked up, like a superstar. They felt like a celebrity, they felt like a hero, and they felt like someone special, I guess, really is. They were special in that moment, and then the rest of the night we made them feel special as well. But there was also a second part of that event, which guests would take the tram or the bus down to Residential Street, and we would pretend to break down the bus. Oh, we're broken down, what are we going to do? And then people would start coming out of the doors of those fake houses like they lived there, and eventually we would roll out a DJ, and they would roll out those catering tables, like literally roll them out, throw the tablecloth on there, get the food out, and they'd start the music, and they're like, what's happening? Oh, it's our party, this is it. But it was incredible.
They had no idea.
They had no idea.
That's crazy.
It is some of the greatest times. When you don't even know what's happening, if you come and you pay for your ticket and you have this day in the park, when you leave, we clean it up and events come in, and then we clean it up again. So the day guests can come back in. So there's so much more than you see when you come in as a regular guest. You see a lot, but there is a 24-hour operation where there's
no doubt.
We're trying to utilize every aspect of the parks that we have in production as well, things like that. I know that was a long story.
No, that was a great story.
Did you really think so?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
It was, comment down below. I would say a good 8.
Really?
A solid 8.
Thank
well,
you.
It was so good I wanted you to share it with our listeners.
Thanks.
So, probably a question our listeners have is, who are these crowds of people that are asking and cheering for the signatures?
They're called Screaming Fans and Autograph Hounds.
That was their name?
Screaming Fans was one group. They tell me, we need 50 Screaming Fans, but I'll find 50 people that will work 3 hours and scream because it hurt your throat.
But were these like people off the street, like on like a Craigslist ad that we need extras for this party?
So, essentially, we would have a pool of people that worked in different departments, clerical departments, attractions, who were always looking for extra hours, and they were good at what they did, which was looking enthusiastic to see somebody that they never met and excited, and they were pretty good actors. You could not help but get caught up in the momentum. Even if we put someone who wasn't a great actor out there, they would get caught up in it and scream. So, right. They were still Disney employees.
So these were Disney cast members or employees?
They were Disney cast members.
In some capacity.
So were the ones that were dressed up as security or cops. Disney cast members.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Well, they're all members of the big show. They're cast members. And they can do so many things.
Not to divulge any privy to information that you might know, but I didn't ask you this question the first time we talked about this, but what would you say an average party like this would cost? At Disney, not at Universal, at Disney.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I mean, was this like a Screaming Fans package? Like,
So essentially, that was just the first 5 minutes of their event.
oh my god. Seriously?
You had people on the roofs with ticker tape cannons.
So how much was this add-on?
Oh, I don't know particularly.
What would you guess?
I would say 15,000.
$15,000.
It was a good time in America. Companies were doing well and they had a lot of money. And you could put that sort of money into appreciating the people that worked for you, because most of these parties were for companies that were doing exceptionally well. Sometimes it was just maybe the top 15 or 20% of the salespeople, or if they had a good year, who would come for a party that large. So they would typically, if you had that coming in, you probably had half the rides in the park open. You probably had like half the park.
Okay.
Yeah. So the tables would be set out on the streets, and you'd go from ride to ride. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, we see almost this, not in the aspect of Screaming Fans, but we see on the event side, the same thing at Universal.
Oh, absolutely. Very small sometimes.
The level
very
of
large.
exclusivity.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a word.
Yeah.
Anyway, it fits.
So I think that probably can wrap things up for this episode.
Yeah, because we could talk all day about it.
We could talk I mean, we probably will over the course of several episodes.
Yeah.
So down in the comments below, this is the third time I've asked you to do this, but if you guys have ever been to one of these special events, I'm sure there's people out there that are watching our show. Mm-hmm. All 10 people out there. But if you could comment down below.
Oh, you flatter us.
Okay, 9 people. Let us know. I mean, what was your experience? What was the event for? Mm-hmm. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it crazy impression? Or let us know. Yeah. We're interested to hear. So, because
we really are.
We're on the worker side of it, so
yeah.
We already know what to expect.
We seriously want to know what you think and what your experiences are. Mm-hmm. Please tell us. Please share with us.
So I'll have Chris kind of tell you, but we do have several social media channels, I guess you can say, avenues.
Do I know these?
Do you know these? You don't know these?
No.
Well, they're all at Lap Bar Nation.
Yeah.
And it's on.
They are on our channel page. They're on our header.
They're Instagram.
Just click there.
Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Obviously YouTube.
Twitter.
And Twitter.
Yeah.
It's all at Lap Bar Nation.
We have all the things. Oh yeah, all the things are going to be in the video description. Just click there.
Mm-hmm. I guess that about wraps it up. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. And come back and see us on the next video.
See you next time.
Bye.